The Working Artist Project is brought to you by Second Line Arts Collective. Learn how you can support at secondlinearts.org.
We're creating a platform for those who are curious, one that tells the story from the artist's perspective. Moments in time, captured from the innovators who are reshaping dance, music, theater, and the visual arts. This is the Working Artist Project.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gregory Agid, and we'd like to welcome you all to the Working Artist Project. And if you guys would help me, welcome the wonderful Mr. Darrian Douglas. Mr. Douglas, can you turn your volume up?
See, man, I got too many buttons to push over here. Here we go. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How you doing this Monday evening?
Man, I am good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna just leave it right there. I'm really good, man. I've been listening to theoretical physicists talk about mind-bending stuff all day, so I'm on a vibe right now, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mind-bending things. All right. Awesome. How to make $1 million in jazz.
Yeah, they said that shit was impossible. Just do something else. That's how you make $1 million in jazz, man.
But that's actually, there's a joke from the joke is, how do you make $1 million in jazz? You start with two.
Exactly. You start with two.
Anyways, sorry, we're going on a whole nother tangent here. But Darrian, we got our camp coming up next week.
We got a brand new camp coming up, Sanaa Music Workshop. This is our 5th. I really like to call it our 6th year, but technically it's our 6th year. But on paper, it's our 5th year, and so we're really excited about it because of the virus and all that. We're going to do it online for the 2nd year in a row, and yeah. So if you want to check it out, you can check it out on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live every day, the 14th of June through the 25th of June, no weekends. So
that's right. So even though the registration is closed and the camp is fully booked, you are still able to access the class via Facebook Live and those live streaming services you were mentioning. And shout out to the Bornstein family, the Jazz and Heritage Foundation. Who else? EPNO,
and all the other good folks in the universe who helped us raise money to make this camp 100% free for all of our students. And I think this year we have 20 something kids, somewhere around there, kids
from all over the world.
All over. We are an international jazz camp.
We did it.
If you want to continue to support Second Line Arts Collective, you can dig us at secondlinearts.org and sign up for our newsletter. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Check us out. Greg every week sends a love letter.
That's right.
All of
from Greg and Darrian. Well, tonight we have a very special guest. We have one of the most in-demand drummers, band leaders, entrepreneurs, and I would say ambassadors of the city of New Orleans.
Absolutely.
And we're going to welcome him here, Mr. Derrick Freeman. Y'all give it up for Derrick.
Where you at, Derrick? What's happening, babe?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Good,
where did all those people come from?
Oh man, they in the box, man. They in the box. Right. Don't ask too many questions. Hey, Derrick, man. I was thinking today of just some things I wanted to talk to you about, and I think the one thing that resonates with me is that you're a lot of things, but you're a cultural bearer of New Orleans. You know what I mean? And I kind of want to talk about what that actually means, and how you kind of go about spreading the good word through your music.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Trying to just spread the love and keep the culture going. Be mindful of all the generations and how the music affects them and directs them. So I was being mindful of that and just paying attention to what the kids are doing, but also pay attention to what my elders are doing, and kind of just try to bridge the gap. I feel like I'm in the middle of both archetypes, so I feel very bonded Yes, so it's a more of a it's a bonding, just having everybody be together. Not necessarily like a Pollyanna situation, but like um a cohesive ecosystem.
Hey
Yeah.
man, we're not gonna knock our polyamorous folks out there.
Yeah. No. I'm I love those people. I'm just not one of them.
I hear you. I
I'm
hear you.
working on it though.
Okay. One thing I noticed, and Greg, I'm sure you did too, is during the pandemic, you were very active on multiple fronts in the community, not only musically, but also like getting people tested for COVID and getting people out to vote. You're like you're really out in the
Yeah.
community, which is I think it's kind of rare for a musician. So like what motivates you to
To me, it came down to value because I mean it's easy for people to value us when we're entertaining them, you know. But when all that went away, I feel like some of the people in the city forgot about how valuable we are to the city. So I figured there was different ways we could show them through community organizing and keeping people healthy and keeping people aware of civics and civility.
Hmm.
It, 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 yeah, that's all it's about to me. It was just about showing worth, just
Mm.
so um, it was easy for them to dismiss us when they weren't being entertained by us. So I was trying to make sure musicians stayed present and relevant, and with the time. So also like now, like when stuff was coming back, I want to make sure we at least had a bigger seat at the table, or at least or somebody was in the room, So I feel like we've gotten more inroads into that, like as far as the city leaders. I mean, if anybody's even leading, but that's a different subject. But yeah, to me, it was just about relevancy and about worth, value.
And I love, again, I think musicians, we walk a very interesting place in society because, again, like we're kind of like that connection between the people who are running the show and the people who are making it happen. As artists, we get to kind of flow freely between all the different worlds, and I love hearing that, you taking on that responsibility and being proactive and creating those opportunities for the community, and also inspiring other people to lead and take the, move all of us in a certain direction. So coming out of the pandemic, the COVID is kind of wrapping up here in New Orleans, and I was wondering, you were one of the first cats out on the scene playing at Tipitinas and getting Soul Brass Band out there, and so I was wondering if you would be able
Mhm.
to tell us a little bit about what musicians, what's the current state of the musicians' life here in New Orleans, getting back to things.
It's weird, man, because we everybody was so down, and then and then we started working a little bit, which was fulfilling, but it was also dangerous, because it's just COVID was just everywhere. And, we're trying to protect ourselves and play gigs outside and whatnot, but it was still walking a thin line. I mean, cats wanted to keep playing, but I definitely I felt a little irresponsible at times when it came to that. But it was just at some point we had to eat. um, but then it like went from 0 to 1,000 real fast,
Hmm.
and now
So
I'm like
you
having trouble keeping up. Like I've been like,
so you like fully booked
you
these
know,
days again.
um, yeah, it's yes. Um, and I kind of don't want to be like I kind of like to get the hell out of here at some point, but I guess I'm not gonna turn down any gigs. But I it's well that's not true. Actually, I've turned down a lot of gigs, honestly. Out of state or whatnot, just because it's just a different time now. It's
Mhm.
just not just it's not the time to just do things just to go through the motions and do things we don't want to do. So I'm
Mm.
just being very more selective about the things we're gonna do, especially out of town. You know what I mean?
No,
Nice.
absolutely. I think a lot of musicians around the country. You know, I'm up here in New York, and so cats are on the same energy, on the same vibe as you, saying, you know, we work so hard for so little reward that, you know, we had that long break and
Right.
everybody trying to think and be like, man, do I want to go over there for like, you know, X amount of hours and get paid this amount money? So like what things are you doing to kind of like fill in those gaps so you don't have to continuously take those smaller opportunities and waiting for the bigger ones?
I mean, I'm just trying to push the licenses, you know, make sure like the music is making money for me, and I'm blessed to have to be versatile as an artist. So, you know, I had some voiceover jobs, and I'm trying to get some acting jobs. So I'm just trying to be, you know, diversified, just be versatile, so I don't have to do that. I mean, it's been a while. You guys know since I've gotten on the bus or the van anyway. I've been stopped doing. I mean, you know, y'all. I mean, y'all see me out other places, but you know, it's a different setup. We go and then, you know, we hit at a place for a while, and then we go to another place and hit for a while. Like the van tour bus thing. I've been stopped doing that a while ago. So I'd already stopped eating that cheese before COVID, but now there's a whole bunch of other cheese I'm not eating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, there's just too many medium. You know, there's just too many mediums out here. Like, you know, you guys find your voice through this. You know what I'm saying? Like Greg was saying earlier. Like musicians, we have so much power and so many abilities that people we don't get to display because people have no idea what we do. They just think we're sitting around getting high, waiting for their $300 gig. They have no idea like the 15 other things you did today. You know what I mean?
Man,
So
dude, I hear
I
you.
think we're all versatile and diverse in that. So we got to display some of that forcefully, which I think benefited a lot of us,
Yeah.
honestly.
Man, I was wondering if, since we're on that topic, if you could kind of dig into some of the things that you have going on in your life, in addition to being a drummer and a musician. You know, if you could dig into all the many hats that you wear.
Yeah. I don't even know. Oh, I'm so fried. Well, you know, making records. I mean, I kind of quietly started a label with some friends of mine. So I'm trying to sign some people, um, do a few records, producing their records, and I got a new record coming out, a new solo record because I haven't done a solo record in like 7 years,
Wow.
with all the cats on it. Um, we've been working on that for the last few months. Um, and then also I'm working on a music video for one of those songs. And again, I'm actively auditioning for whatever TV shows and stuff. I booked a few things. I booked like a voiceover gig, and I had a modeling job, which is hilarious at this age. It's still happening.
Man, you're one of the best looking guys
Yeah.
out here on the scene. Come on.
But you know, we trying to again just diversify, like Wu Tang said, diversify your bonds. You know what I'm saying? Utilize all your skills. Well, you know what I mean. Well, for a lot of us, it's, you know, I'm just saying,
Wu-Tang Financial.
yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, for a lot of us, it's easier for us to hide behind our instruments. You know what I'm saying? But I think we have so many gifts, and they we're afraid to share with people because of the scrutiny that we have to deal with. So I think everybody should just be open to the gifts that they possess, and just share them more. You know, and tap into them. You know what I'm saying? Don't closet it yourself as an artist. You know, it'll just benefit you in the end. Like it just give me more choices, more freedom. You know, to be myself and not have to, you know, get on the bus.
Yeah, man. You know, it's funny because, you know, as you're growing up and trying to be a musician, at least for me, you know, the you dream of touring. And I even know some young cats up here who haven't toured yet. And they just like, I just want to tour, man.
Right.
And I remember when I realized that it was kind of like a zero-sum game. I played a festival, like a jazz festival that everybody, like as you're growing up, you're just like, oh man, I really want to play that festival. And then I got there and I played and I was like, oh, is this it? This is all?
Yeah.
Like there's no, I'm good. It's a weird feeling to not feel like you accomplished something. It's just another stage.
Yeah.
You know, not
I
to
mean,
sound,
you know, But no, I mean, no, you don't. We all been blessed to play on some in some great stages, so it's not about that. I mean, it is fulfilling when you get to, you play at a Playboy Jazz Festival or you play at a Red Rock. So you play, yeah, you do feel, the connection is to play a Blue Note or something. It's not like it doesn't affect you or you're not, you know, honored by it. But it becomes a grind after a while, and a lot of times you're living somebody else's dream. We get trapped in that. You know what I mean? I mean, it's okay to be a side man. It's okay to help out your brothers and your sisters, but at some point, you gotta focus on you. You know what I'm saying? And that being said, I mean, I know some people that are completely content being those people. You know what I'm saying? And God bless those people because we all need them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I just couldn't be in that box. I was in that box for a long time, and it was affecting me artistically and mentally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big choice to to get out there and kind of like start do your own solo thing. So, in terms of your solo projects, I know you run Soul Brass Band. I was wondering if you would be able to talk about the origins of the band because y'all have been playing all over the world over the last couple of years, putting out some records, and y'all are one of the most working brass bands in New Orleans. And love to hear about how that all started.
You know,
Uh-oh.
I mean, it's been written the story, but I mean, it's the band started completely by accident. Again, wearing other hats. So the CeeLo Green, the rapper from the Goody Mob, he was doing a music video in New Orleans, and he wanted to have a jazz funeral scene in the video. I don't know why it has nothing to do with the song, but that's just what he wanted. So the director was a guy from LA who had never been to New Orleans. So they hired me as a consultant to tell, to teach them how to film a second line scene, basically.
Hmm.
So we get to talking about all the different elements of the scene and the horse and carriage and the band and all this other stuff. And he starts asking me about the band. He's like, well, "What's up with the band?" I'm like, "Yeah, we got to get a band." He's like, "You don't have a brass band?" I'm like, "No, I don't." He's like, "But we could put a band together. I mean, we don't have to really play." He's like, "You could put a band together for the video." I'm like, "Yeah, of course." You know.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Well," he's like, "Well, what's the name of the band?" I'm like, "I don't know. I mean, I." So the CeeLo Green song was called "Music for My Soul," right? And every word that he rhymed, every stanza he rhymed with the word soul. And I was just thinking aesthetically, like that would look cool on like some hats and some parade hats, some sashes or whatever. Because it turned out the director was also like a graphic designer, so he was like really keen on what he wanted to really make all the stuff himself for the costumes. So we really talked about it aesthetically, but it was just an aesthetic thing. I was like, that soul look cool across somebody's chest. So it was. I can't remember who was in the first video. I think it was me and Kevin Lewis and maybe Taplin and John Gross and maybe Aaron Lambert, um, which could be a band, which would, but it wasn't a band at the time. So whatever, we did the music video, and the guy was so appreciative that he like gave me all the stuff. He's like, "Man, keep all the hats and the bass drum heads and the tambourine heads and the stickers." Like, it just gave me all this like swag, like soul gear that he just like made himself for the video, just as a thank you gift. He was like, "Yeah, it's my art, but you can just have all that stuff." Like, all right, cool, thanks, bro. I was like, "Yeah, brass band shit. I might need it for something one day, whatever." Like, and 2 weeks later, the same lady producer called me and said that Nike was interested in putting us in a commercial with Anthony Davis. Could I do the fake brass band again for the Anthony Davis commercial? Like, yeah, Nike was like, a lot of money. And so the people, the people that directed the video, of course, they didn't know nothing about New Orleans, and they figured, well, if we film this on Royal Street at 8 in the morning on a Sunday, nobody will really recognize Anthony Davis, and we can get away with it. They don't know people in New Orleans start going to brunch at 9 a.m. in the French Quarter, right? So I'm out there with Leon Brown and Calvin Johnson and all these people that everybody knows. And Anthony Davis is freaking 7 feet tall. We're standing in the middle of the French Quarter. And there's a big ass sign that says Soul Brass Band because he like walks past us in the in the scene, And then like people pulling out their phones and they just start hashtagging Soul Brass Band. And then like 2 days later, my DMs start filling up. Like, hey, can your brass band play our Christmas party? I'm like, I don't have a brass. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, sure. And our first actual gig was at Tipitina's. We opened up for Red Barat.
Hey, what year did all this happen?
I think that was 2015.
Wow. That's a crazy story, bro. That's like that can be made into a movie for TV, bro.
Right, just like, wait, what?
He
She just started a brass band for no reason. And then it just blew up. You know me, but I'm used to having multiple projects. So I wasn't even tripping about it. I'm just like, okay, I have 4 bands now, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But then the brass band took off like a freaking rocket ship. It was so crazy. 2 years later, we were like in Europe for like 7 weeks. You know what I mean?
See, man, that is like preparation plus opportunity equals success
Right.
100% of the time, dog. And like you said, you weren't even in the position. You were a consultant. You weren't even over to play.
Now you didn't even have a brass band, and then you became the most famous brass band of the year. but that's killing too. Is like it's an important lesson too. When you get offered an opportunity, sometimes you got to say yes and then figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, I mean, it's not like I don't know what a consultant does, but also I also don't know what a consultant does. I mean, I can tell this guy anything. I mean, whatever. I mean, they're filming the city. They're going to use New Orleans people in the thing. So I wanted it to look right. So, I had a genuine interest in like helping the dude make the shit look right. Right. But yeah, I didn't know that was going to hope springs opportunity. Like you said, I know it was going to pop off like that. And again, even when I decided to actually start the band, I just thought it would be like the third band on the hierarchy.
Right.
I was wrong about that.
Since we here, man, let's go ahead and take this opportunity and put our ears on some of y'all's music. And
right.
this one's called Levels.
right, ladies and gentlemen, we were just listening to Derrick Freeman and the Seoul Brass Band, and there was a tune called Levels. So, Derrick, would you mind telling us who was on the record?
That's a great question. I know. That was Ricio soloing and James Martin soloing, and also Weedy Brema, and I think that was I want to say that was Doyle on tuba,
Hmm.
and maybe Miles and Michael Watson on trombone. No, actually that was Tab and Michael Watson, and Leon and Ricio and Danny Abel.
Man, it's like the cats of the cats down here in
Right.
New Orleans. That's all of them right there.
Right.
Man, can you talk a little bit about New Orleans brass band music and what New Orleans brass band music means to the community?
Yeah, it's funny because the brass band music has actually expanded its reach over the last kind of 10 years. Like it's always been a lot to you know, the 6th ward, the 7th ward, the 8th ward, the 9th ward, the 17. You know, it's always been a lot to those communities and the way they react to it. But like there's so many tiers of it now, you know, because it's like they used to just be relegated to the streets, like even around the world, you know, like the brass bands will be playing in the street outside the festival or, you know, in the train station or like, so it was always like, it was always like a step child of the gig, not really the gig, you know what I'm saying? But now you see brass bands on like headlining main stage festivals, you know what I mean? So there's like different tiers of it in New Orleans now. And, you know, everybody, people feel a certain way about it. You know, I'm lucky because I'm kind of dabbled in all 4 of the different realms of brass band. You know, like got the street brass bands, you know, that come from the neighborhoods. And you got your pseudo street brass bands that come out of high school and college marching bands. That's like a different approach. And then you have stage brass bands like us, or you know, or like Mainline or Soul Rebels, or you know what I'm saying. Even Rebirth now to an extent. Dirty Dozen's always been a stage brass band, and then now you have brass bands for hire, like a Big Fun brass band, or you know, Kinfolk brass band, or Hacienda brass band. So, so all 4 of those things, it's 4 different jobs. You know, like one of them is for the hood, one of them is for the stage. You know what I'm saying? One of them is for the college, and one of them is for the, you know, for the Karens. So you know, you know, you could choose, you know, your level of participation in any one or all 4. You know what I'm saying? I choose to dabble in all 4. And I felt a certain kind of way about the brass band for hire shit, especially, you know, with the abundance of white brass band players. And I'm not shitting on them because I use a lot of them in my band and I play with them. But it was just a weird influx of a lot of these kids from the North Shore who just like grew up worshiping that music and they could really play it. You know, Miles Lyons and Corey Bostic. You know, these guys did really play the music. So now I felt a certain kind of way about like doing it, like, you know, the frat brother second line or the, you know, but then all of a sudden I would be doing one of those and like Kurt Joseph would be on the gig. And like Roger Lewis would be like, I mean, well, all right. But you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, everybody, you know, like they telling you Sopranos, nobody has a right to tell you how to earn. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know Terrence Taplin, one of the baddest trombone players in the world. He play on Bourbon Street 4 nights a week, like by choice. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's crazy too to have watched over the last couple of years just the explosion of like brass band is like, you know, outside of New Orleans. Like I feel like everywhere I go, man, there's always a brass band. Everywhere in the world. There's like brass bands in New York. There's brass bands in Europe now, and sometimes I can't tell if they're playing New Orleans music or Eastern European music. I'm not really sure if they know the difference.
That's true. It's true that they can really, but like, you know, I know a lot of cats, particularly cats in Denmark, who I use as subs. I mean, there's cats I use on the road that are European cats. You know what I'm saying? Like, and also like the Funky Dogs. I've used some of those dudes. They're from Connecticut. They've subbed on gigs with me. Like, yeah, bro. Like all over the place, everywhere. Brass bands. And the people, it's good too because it's finally earning the level of respect it should have had for years. You know what I'm saying? Like poor Rebirth and New Birth and Hot Eight, man, them dudes, and they had to struggle for so many years for us to be at this level. These early Soul Rebels and all those bands, like in the van. You know what I'm saying? Getting disrespected, not getting paid for the Europe gigs. You know what I'm saying? Treated like not getting no respect from the other musicians. You know what I mean? All that stuff. Then and also carrying the stigma in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? We ignorant, we late, blah 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 blah. We disrespectful, all this other shit. That's not really true, but you travel with all that when they put the name New Orleans in front of the band.
We always got to shout out those cats too, because they lay the foundation for all of us to have careers. And they exactly. Did put up with some bullshit that we may never know.
Yeah, man. It's interesting to me that you brought up gentrification in that way. That even in this music, as it spreads, is subject to gentrification, and then also some other influences from other cultures. And I think sometimes it's easy for us, like you said, to push back and say, "Nah, I don't want to mess with that. That's not really a part of the culture." But
right.
maybe a little bit the culture has expanded and people are accepting it in new cultures. And so to some degree, I think the tricky part is, and you can tell me how you do this, is how you accept new people into the culture, but also keep the core of the culture where it needs to be so that it still feels like it comes from the people who created it.
Again, like I was saying when we first started, it's about being that glue, about having your nose to the street and recognizing certain things. Like not to put him on blast, but Mark Levron, who's a great, incredible trumpet player and plays most of my gigs now. He's probably like the number one trumpet cat. But we play a different breed of music in soul. Like he knows my music in and out. But we were having a conversation about some possible Europe shit, and I was just like rattling off songs. And like after you've gone, he's like, "Wait, I don't know that song." I'm like, "Wait, what?" So I'm like, "Okay, wait a second. All right, stop." I gotta call Kermit and be like, "Kermit, did you know Levron doesn't know after you've gone? What? Man, tell Levron to come over here now." Like, I got you. Yeah, like you got to go over there. Like, go. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing, but you go over there. And so he went over there. And then like, Herman Riley was over there too. So I'm like, well, shit, I'm coming. But I'll get a lesson. So again, what I'm saying? Like, now he knows the song. So it's about that. It's about, it's like cats don't want to know, but it's we all had teachers. You know what I mean? All of us had great teachers. And you can't find. I mean, even though, especially me, because I'm older than you guys. Like, we didn't have Google and all that shit. When I was in college or in high school, so I had to we have to seek the knowledge out. So I think part of that's missing from people sometimes. Like that young drummer. Again, I just brought up Hurlin. That young drummer asking me something about Hurlin, and I was like, "You act like Hurlin's dead." I'm like, "You want his number?" Like, what you need to do is twist up one and get a bottle and then go over there and knock on the man's door. He's like, "That's gonna work." I'm like, "If you knock on my door, we want twisted in the bottle, I'm gonna let you in and answer your question." Yes. Like it's like, when people are, "How did you learn that beat from Shannon Powell?" I'm like, "I went to Shannon Powell's house, man, for a bunch of times. He fed me and he cursed me out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he ever actually showed me how to play the drum groove, but I learned how to do it somehow." You know what I'm saying?
That's the interesting thing about New Orleans is like there's just so much nuance to what it means to be from New Orleans and play like you're from New Orleans. It has nothing to do with music.
Right. Like literally, like very little to do with music, actually. That's true.
The beautiful thing about drums, especially in New Orleans, Greg, you can go take a break. This is between us now. It's like people like, I'm not from New Orleans, but I lived there for several years, and I was trying to learn y'all's music. And I remember one time Hurlin, I was sad, fucking some shit up, and he see me play, he'd be like, "Hey man, you got to learn the culture." And then it took me a while. I was like, "What is he saying, man?" And I go to his gig and I'm like, can you show me that? He was like, you got to learn the culture. And
Right.
damn, he
No.
months after month,
Right.
I take a lesson with Earl, and you got to learn. And I go to Shannon house. Can you show me that tambourine thing? You got to learn the culture. I'm like, well, what is this culture thing they talking about? So you in New Orleans, you got to really get inside the people to understand the music. And I think that it's the only place in America like that. Like it may be Mississippi with the blues where I'm from, but everywhere else,
definitely,
college, like, hey man, you learn this scale and you read this paper, and
right.
You're a doctorate in music. You're a professional.
but even in college, like I would say 90% of the conversations I had with Ellis had nothing to do with music. It was about boxing or baseball or like, physics or like, he is, like you got to go do your job no matter what. So I'm not gonna sit there and say, they got other, Ed Peterson is here for that. Ed Peterson is the one who's like, these are the scales, and Steve Masikowski's like chord changes. Ellis is like, yo, did you see the Mike Tyson fight? He's like, he reminds me of Hank Mobley. His style, his movements. I'm like, what? Huh? You know what I mean?
And then when you play for Ellis and you miss one change, Ellis will be like, yo, you don't know the changes, man. And do you know the lyrics?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's just different. Even on the collegiate level, New Orleans was different. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just a different vibe. And, and stuff I learned from in the Treme Neighborhood, it's not, I mean, it was curriculum, but it's not, there's no syllabus. You know what I'm saying? You just up in it. But like, it was just a great time. And like, I was around a lot of legends and didn't realize it because I was literally a kid, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. Like around like legends, people who had played on like, people who had made rock and roll history and played some of the classic records of all time. I was just doing gigs with them at like Little People's Place and Donna's, and you know what I mean? Like these old men, then like later in life, looking at a documentary of somebody and be like, oh, the great Lloyd Lambert. I'm like, Lloyd Lambert, I played with him. People like, you did? I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. All right. Gigs with Walter Payton or gigs with, Ellis or Harold Batty. I'm like, you take it for granted back then. But like, so I was just lucky to come up at a time where like a lot of the cats were still alive and still playing, So I had like literally a direct connection. Like I played gigs with Danny Barker. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just got very lucky at the time I came. I saw Neil Kane was on his feed. So Neil knows what I'm talking about. We came around sometime. So he knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's like the connection to the old people that people our age have, luckily. You know what I'm saying? But we're still young enough, like I said, to connect to the generations, below us, because I'm still a child of hip hop and, like everybody else. So it's not like I don't know what's going on, but it just came at a blessed time.
Yeah. The Treme Neighborhood was the Google of 15 years ago. If you want to learn about music, you got to go Treme it.
Right. Basically, yeah. Well, no YouTube videos to show you the second line. Have you seen those, by the way? It's hilarious. I know you've seen them, Darrian.
The second line videos, yeah.
The white cat and like, yeah. Yes.
You gotta watch the gumbo and the.
It's got a lot of hits too. That's the sad part. Bruh. Exactly.
Yeah, I guess man. So that's
it. You said.
So you've had the great fortune of being mentored by some of the greatest the greatest talents and minds of New Orleans. And I was wondering, Matt, who were some of the cats that you studied with down here, and who should cats who want to learn about New Orleans, who should they be checking out?
Well, obviously Shannon and Herlin, the two guys that Darrian and I both just mentioned, but both of those dudes are very present on the scene and very approachable. And they gotten they've gotten softer in their old age. They used to be kind of like, especially Shannon. They used to be a little harder than they are now. They seem like sweet older men now, so you should take advantage of hanging out with them cats.
You remember? It's not just me, man. I feel like I remember everyone being like much more intense when I was growing up.
Yeah, no, it was no, definitely. 100%. They all got soft. Like I studied with Johnny V. I had some classical teachers. I studied with this guy named Lee Beach, who's a great classical percussionist. And I studied with Johnny V early on. I studied with David Lee, the great David Lee. I was lucky enough to study with him. And Leon Anderson, of course. Leon was my vibes teacher actually at UNO. And then I think my last teacher was I can't remember that cat's name, but he also played with Ellis, one of the other dudes that came from Florida. But whatever, I had some great teachers.
Yeah, man. Look, man, let's listen to another one, man. This one is again, we talking to Derrick Freeman from Seoul Brass Band, and this is one called How Far We Come. Here we go.
Streets with no shoes on our feet, no money, no heat, four in the bed when we sleep. I'm a cat, I like to roam, I'm a dog searching for a bone. I fell from grace, people all in my face. My mom, my TD, don't want me being happy. I'm working, I still poor, but they tell me work some more. Just look how far we've come. It's looking like the have-nots finally got us some.
Yeah, bro. See that one right there showed y'all crossover ability right there. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that song.
Man, it's just so killing because I feel like again like the brass band, is like a vehicle for so many different styles of music that just encompasses everything from like you were saying earlier, man. After you've gone to Pharrell or whatever it is, it's everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, so what are so Soul Brass Band? What do y'all have anything coming up in the horizon next couple months to look out for?
Yeah, we're working on a Colorado run in August. Um, like second half of August, I think. I'm working on that, and maybe California in September, and then of course October. Everything we're all gonna die.
Oh, that's gonna
I'm
be
like, how many?
insane.
I'm like, how many festivals are we? Like, what's going on? Like,
Man, they
all
got
right,
festivals throughout the week.
right. I'm like, okay.
I think
Like Fried
they're
Chicken
doing.
Fest. I was like, it's
They,
like it's the same time as Jazz. I'm so confused. I'm like, are there 6 weekends in October? I'm like, I don't know. How is all this happening at the same time? I'm so confused. But
I think
whatever.
they're doing Jazz Fest 2019 and 2020 in like 3 weekends, and then like I think they're moving festivals out to Metairie because they got so many.
Brother. Yeah, I don't know when we're going back to Europe. I mean, I guess not, maybe not to next summer, but there's there was this festival that I was actually helping produce in the Netherlands. Because I was there and like right before the shutdown. Like I got back March 7th, 2020 from Amsterdam. So I was over there working on a festival that we were gonna have a bunch of New Orleans cats and a bunch of other cats come in July last year, but of course that didn't happen. So that festival's happening in 2022, but we have to go do like some promotional stuff for it at some point. Like, so that we may be going over there sometime in the fall just to like, not actually the tour, but just that like film some videos and stuff.
Yeah.
But whatever.
But
But I'm not. I mean, I'm looking forward to doing some touring in the States because we actually haven't done that much of that, which is crazy. Like we've been all over the world, but we've never played in Colorado or California actually.
oh wow.
We were supposed to in 2020, but
Right. The world ended, but here we are, man. Things are opening.
right, exactly.
But dig it, man. We coming to the end, and before we go, I definitely want to give you an opportunity to tell everybody where to buy that record we just heard, and everything else you got, how to find out where y'all gonna be, how to get your social security number, everything, all the good stuff.
Yeah, you don't want that. It's all it's gonna do is make your credit worse. No, I mean, it's for us. It's Soul Brass Band across all platforms. That record you can get all over the place. Amazon, iTunes, all the things. I mean, you can stream it if you want, but it'd be awesome if you bought it. You could also buy physical LPs from me from my website. They'll mail them to you, along with all that Soul Brass Band merch. So yeah, it's just Soul Brass Band on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pornhub, all of them. So yeah, just catch us.
So y'all go check it out. So, all you gotta do is Google Derrick Freeman and Soul Brass Band, and everything about his life will come right up, so you can buy.
Yeah, it all pops up. Thank God. I used to not. I mean, I was like, who are all these other Derrick Freemans? But I don't know. I guess they all died. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm just glad. I'm glad. I was glad to talk to you guys and actually have like a night off to actually do something else. So it was fun.
Yeah, we appreciate you, bro. We really do, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for making the time to hang with us tonight. And man, you're the man, dude. Thank you so much, Derrick.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, y'all. My name is Darrian Douglas.
And my name is Gregory Agid. It's the Working Artist Project, y'all.
We'll catch y'all later.